Hello students, today we will learn the next illustration number 8 relating to computation of a income from profession or a professional income. See here, Sri Raghavendra is a practicing chartered accountant. The following is the summary of his cash book for the year ending 31st March 2020. So they have given the cash book, so that debit side shows about the receipts, credit side shows about the payment. So under that, first one, to balance brought down 10,000, audit fees 1 lakh, tax consultation fees 50,000, remuneration for teaching in college 60,000, examiners remuneration 20,000, gift from clients 5,000, interest on bank deposit 5,000, rent from house property 50,000, income tax refund 10,000. So only this much is the information and on the debit side or a receipt side. So the remaining are the details of the payment side, which is by mistakenly it is printed here. So it is about the payments. You can see it is relating to expenses and payments, so it should be recorded here. There is a totaling error, so if you write all this much, it is equal to the total 3,10,000. So the next, so this is about the receipt side. Next, see the payment side. By salary to staff 25,000, office rent 12,000, purchase of furniture 50,000, purchase of professional books 5,000, car expenses 15,000, donation to a school 10,000, municipal tax on house property 5,000, repairs to furniture 2,000, repairs to car 6,000. So the continuation of payment side is given here. Advance IT 11,000, periodicals 1,000, telephone expenses 4,000, membership fees 1,000, life insurance premium 2,000. Then gift to relatives, make it 37,000. It is not 2,000, 37,000. Gift to relative is 37,000. Next, general expenses 24,000 and balance carried down 1 lakh. So this much information is you have to continue here. So that is you have to continue here from advance IT tax till the balance carried down. So you have to write on the payment side. Okay, it's about the payments details. So the total of both the side is 3,10,000. Next, additional information. Car is used for personal and professional use in the ratio of 1:2. Permissible depreciation on car is 18,000, on computers 25,000, and on furniture 1,500, and books 5,000. General expenses includes 5,000 paid to his son's college tuition fees. Compute the total taxable income of Sri Raghavendra for the assessment year 2020-21. So with this information, we have to compute the total taxable income. Total taxable income means we have to compute the GTA. So GTA minus deduction under section 80 is equal to total income or total taxable income. Okay, so here even the deduction under section 80 also we have to compute. So firstly, in order to compute this, we have to compute the professional income of a chartered accountant. Sri Raghavendra, he is a chartered accountant. So whatever the income as well as expenses he incurs in the in his profession, we have to take under the professional income format. So with that help, we will find out what is the taxable income from his profession. So that professional income is taxable under section 28 while computing the GTA. So here, in order to compute GTA, not only the professional income, even other income also we have to consider here. So here in this question, they asked to compute the taxable income, means even the other heads of income also we have to consider. We should not ignore. So we will see one by one. First, in order to find the taxable income from profession, we have to see the receipt side of a cash book. Here they have given cash book of a receipt side of a cash book. So in that receipts, you have to find only the professional related receipt. So now we'll see one by one the professional related receipts. So the first one is this is ignored, audit fees. So as a chartered accountant, for auditing work, so chartered accountant, their main duty is to audit the records of different companies. So for the verification or auditing or checking of the records of companies or their profit and loss account or a balance sheet, recording of their financial statement. So for that they will receive a audit fees. So that is a receipt to the chartered accountant. So it is taken as a professional receipt. Then tax consultation fees relating to tax. For the consultation he will be receiving tax consultation fees, so that is also taken as a receipt. So here the taxpayers, they have to take the help of chartered accountants relating to the filing of their income tax. If they are not aware about the filing of income tax, they have to take the help of chartered accountants. So whatever the fees the taxpayer they are going to pay on to the chartered accountant is nothing but tax consultation fees. So it is a receipt to the chartered accountant for his profession. Then remuneration for teaching in the college. See here, remuneration for teaching in the college. So this chartered accountant, he is working in one of a college. From there he is receiving a remuneration. It is not a professional income. It is not a professional income. Here it is a salary income. The remuneration what he received from teaching in the college means he is working in that institution. Teaching in a college means he is working in that institution. Along with the chartered accountant work, he is working in a institution, and there he is receiving a remuneration. Is nothing but his salary income it is. So it is taken as a salary income under section 15. Okay, it is not a professional receipt, it is a salary income. We have to take under the head section 15 salary income. It is about salary income. Then examiner's remuneration. Examiner's remuneration is not relating to professional receipt. It is a remuneration he is receiving for the examination duty. Is nothing but this examination. In the case of remuneration for teaching in college, there will be an employer and employee relationship. So you know what is a salary means. So in order to receive a salary, in order to take it as a salary, there should be a employee-employer relationship. So the employee should receive a remuneration or salary from his employer only. Then only we have to take under the head salary income. So in the case of remuneration for teaching in a college, so he is receiving a remuneration from his employer, right? So it is taken as a salary. But examiner's remuneration is not taken as a salary income. It is not taken as a professional receipt. It is taxable under other source. Okay, it is taxable under the head other source. Means this examiner's remuneration means here this Sri Raghavendra, he has done a duty, examination duty, and for that examination duty he has received a remuneration. So the one who conducts this examination, if you take the example of Mangalore University and our college, so the examination will be semester examination will be conducted by the Mangalore University. Means the duty remuneration is received from a Mangalore University for the examination duty. It is not received from any college institution, any college or institution. It is received from a university. So it is there is no employer-employee relationship with the Sri Raghavendra and this examiners, the one who conducts the exam. So the examiner's remuneration is taken as a income from other source. Okay, it is not taken as a salary income because there is no employee-employer relationship in the case of examiner's remuneration. So the remuneration what they receive for the examination for the examination's duty is taken as a income he is receiving from other source, and it should be taken under it should be taxable under the head other source. Then gift from clients. So when there is a gift received from a clients for the chartered accountant, it is taken as a professional receipt. Interest on bank deposit is not relating to profession. It is taxable under the head other source. Then rent from house, rental income, it is not taken as a professional receipt. It is taxable under the head house property. Then income tax refund. Income tax refund is not an income, so you should not take anywhere. Okay, income tax refund is not an income. It is a refund they are receiving. So it is not taxable anywhere. If it is interest on income tax refund, then we have to take under other source. So only this much is about the receipt side. Next, on the payment side, we'll see about the payment side. Salary to staff. So salary to staff is relating to the professional payment. Office rent. If a chartered accountant pays any office rent, it is also professional payment. Purchase of furniture. Furniture is an asset. So purchase of furniture is not taken under professional payment. it is not taken under professional payment. Only the depreciation we can charge relating to furniture. Then purchase of professional book also, the value of books we should not take, only the depreciation we can charge. Car expenses, if the car is used for professional purpose, then we have to take, or else if they clearly mention whether it is, if it is used for personal use, then we should not take. If it is professional use, we can take, then we will decide based on the additional information. Donation to school, so donations is not relating to professional payment. So this is the payment for this donation. He can claim a deduction under section 80G, okay, for the donation payment. If an SSC makes any donation, then he can claim for a notified donations, then he can claim a deduction under section 80G. So that is 10,000 he can claim deduction. So these are the payments he made. For the payments or any expenses incurred, or for the any investments, they can claim deduction in under section 80. So for the donations, they can claim deduction under section 80G. Then municipal tax on house property, it is not relating to profession, and it is for this they can claim deduction under section house property while computing the income from house property. Repairs to furniture, so if this furniture is used for a profession, then any repairs expenses relating to furniture also taken as a professional payment. And repairs to car also, if it is used for a profession, even the repairs to car also we have to take for the professional part, the part of profession, that it is taken as a profession. If you are taking car expenses for profession, only that portion we have to take for the professional payment. Then continuation, advance income tax. Advance income tax is not relating to any head. It is a income tax paid more advancedly, they are paying a more income tax. That is one of our payment, but is not taken anywhere. It is not relating to profession, so we should ignore. Periodicals, periodicals for a chartered accountant, for periodicals he has paid up payments, so it is taken as a professional payments. Then any telephone expenses incurred, that is in the office related expenses, so that is also taken as a professional payment. Membership fees also taken as a professional payments. For being a member of any association, he has paid a membership fees. Then life insurance premium is not relating to any profession, but for this life insurance premium he can claim deduction under section 80C. Then gift to relatives, if there is any gift paid to relative, gift given to relative, then for that also no deduction, so we have to ignore. It is not relating to profession also. Then general expenses, we can take it as a professional expenses, professional payment, because usually some of the expenses will be incurred in the office which cannot be countable, so that is taken as a general expenses. We can take it as a professional expenses. Next, additional information, car is used for personal as well as professional use in the ratio of 1:2. So they are using this car in the ratio of 1:2, means total 3 portion. Out of 3 portion, 1 is relating to personal and 2 is relating to profession. So 1/3 is relating to personal, 2/3 is relating to professional. So while computing the professional payment, so relating to car, whatever the expenses relating to car we are taking, maybe car expenses or maybe repairs to car or any depreciation to car. If there is any depreciation to car also, purchase of car is not given. If there is any depreciation on car also, we have to take only the professional use, that is a 2/3. That is professional use is nothing but 2/3. We have to take only the 2/3 part because it is of professional. Then they have directly given permissible depreciation on car is 18,000, on computer is 25,000, on furniture is 15,000, and on books is 5,000. So here they have clearly given permissible depreciation, means they have, after calculating the depreciation for professional use, the allowable depreciation given directly. So this allowable or permissible depreciation we can take directly, no need to calculate. It is actually allowable as per IT rule. So permissible means nothing but it is already calculated value. See here depreciation on car is given. Don't take again the professional use of depreciation here because it is already calculated value. So the word permissible is given. Permissible depreciation nothing but it is allowable depreciation as per IT rule. Okay. So this is the direct value we have to take under professional payment under the for relating to depreciation. Then one more information, general expenses include 5,000 paid for his son's college tuition fees. So there is a general expenses we have taken as a professional payment. So in the general expenses there is a one expenses, personal expenses is included. He is paid for a son's college tuition fees. So this 5,000 we have to exclude while taking the general expenses under professional payment, because under professional payment we are taking only the expenses relating to profession. So there is a 5,000 value which is included in the general expenses. That value we have to exclude because it is a personal. Then with the help of this information we have to compute the total taxable income as well as the total taxable income. So to find total taxable income we have to find first the with the help of the information cash book and additional information we have to find the taxable income from profession. So we'll calculate the income from profession. So write the heading. Yes, now write the heading solution computation of taxable income from profession of Sri Raghavendra for the assessment year 2020-21. So 3 column particulars and 2 amount columns. So we have to start with the professional receipt. So first we have to write the professional receipt, which are the income he is receiving from his profession. Being as a chartered accountant, what are the income he is receiving from his profession, that only that income we have to take under the professional receipt. So we'll see one by one. So receipts will be given on the receipt side of cash book. So on the receipt side, audit fees is a receipt to the chartered accountant. Tax consultation fees also receipt to a chartered accountant. 1, 2. So write 2 items. So audit fees is 1 lakh, tax consultation fees is 50,000. Next is remuneration for teaching. That is a remuneration or a income he is receiving from his employer. It is not relating to profession. It is not taxable. This income is not taxable under the head profession. It is received. It is from under the head salary. It is nothing but the remuneration for teaching in college is a salary income. So that should be taxable under the head salary. Okay. So then examiner's remuneration is taxable under the head others. So it is not relating to. It is not relating to profession. It is a taxable under the head other source. Then gift from clients, so clients it is, so it is taxable under the head professional receipt. So we'll take gift from clients 5,000. Gift from clients is rupees 5,000. Next, professional receipt. Interest on bank deposit is not relating to profession. Rent from house also not relating to profession. Income tax refund also not relating to profession. So only this much is relating to receipt side. So the total of this side is 3,10,000. Okay. So only this much. So means there is no receipt on the there is no other receipt on the receipt side. So now again once check on the additional information. Is there any receipts or a professional related income given? So this is about the car expenses is on relating to payment, depreciation relating to payment, general expenses also relating to payment. So there is no other info relating to receipt. So now totally 1 lakh plus 50,000 plus 5,000 is equal to 1,55,000. So from this value we have to deduct the professional payments to find the taxable income from profession. Professional payments or expenses will take one by one. So to write this we have to see on the payment side of a cash book. So to write the professional payments, so we'll see the payment side of a cash book. So here this chartered accountant has made some of our payments. Here with the help of this payment we have to find only the professional related payment. So that only that payments we have to write under the head professional payments. So we'll take one by one. Salary to staff. So this chartered accountant has paid salaries to his staff. It is relating to his profession. So we have to take under the under the head professional payments, that is 25,000. And similarly the office rent paid by this chartered accountant for the official the rent for the office building, office rent has been paid. So that is also taken as a professional payment. So write these two values, salary to staff and office rent. So salary to staff is 25,000, office rent is 12,000. Next, purchase of furniture, purchase of professional book. Relating to it we can record only the depreciation. So relating to the depreciation, they have given directly the values relating to depreciation. We will take later about the depreciation. No need to calculate the depreciation again. They have given the depreciation directly. So the about furniture depreciation given, and even the books for depreciation also given. So no need to charge depreciation again for this. Then car expenses. Relating to car expenses, they have given additional information. So relating to car expenses, what is additional information given? Car is used for personal as well as professional use in the ratio of 1:3. So here we have to take the car expenses which is relating to professional use. So car expenses total is 15,000. Professional use how much? Personal is 1 ratio, professional is 2 ratio, means 2/3. Professional use is 2/3. So now write car expenses. Car expenses of professional use only we have to take. So that is total car expenses is equal to 15,000. 15,000 into 2/3 we have to take. So that is a value 10,000. 10,000 is a car expenses. Then donation to school is not relating to professional payment. Donation, that is a personal, so it is not relating to profession. Municipal tax paid also not relating to profession, so it is relating to other head payment, so it is not taken as a profession, so ignore. Repairs to furniture, so in the office they will be using a furniture. For that, repairs expenses incurred also taken as a professional related. So take depreciation or a repair expenses also taken as a professional payment. So repairs expenses, repairs to furniture. So what is the value of repairs to furniture? 2,000. So 2,000 here we have to take. Only relating to car we have to compare about the personal and professional use. Okay, this one we can take directly. Repairs to car. So car, there is a information relating to personal and profession. So repairs to car we can take. It is also taken as a professional repairs to car, but only the part of professional use we have to consider, only the part of professional use. So the total repairs to car how much? 6,000. In that total 6,000 is not considering as a professional expenses. Here the part of car expenses which is for professional use how much? 2/3. So 6,000 into 2/3 we have to take. So that is equal to 4,000 repairs to car. Then the continuation of payment side is given here. By mistakenly it has come here. So this is a relating to payment. So you can see by seeing this advance IT, it is a payment, periodicals payment. So just write all these value here, okay, and here, and the amount also here. So advance IT 11,000 is not continuation. Advance IT income tax, it is not relating to a profession. So here this chartered accountant, every year he has to file income tax. So in one of a year, in this previous year, he has paid a more income tax. Advancedly he has been paid a taxes for the next year, like, and more taxes he has been paid. So whatever the more taxes he paid is nothing but advance income tax. The next year he can pay the less tax. He can use this more paid tax for the next income tax payment. Means more taxes has been paid. So if in the case of filing income tax return in the next year, he can set off that whatever the tax he paid, he can opt for the income tax refund or collecting it back, or he can keep it there only and he can pay the less tax in the next year. So the 11,000 is the extra tax he has been paid. So it is not relating to profession, so we have to ignore. Periodicals. So periodicals means what? This chartered accountant, he might be purchasing any periodicals like magazines, weekly magazines, monthly magazines, or in 3 months, once in 3 months the magazines will be published. So for that is nothing but periodicals. So periodicals is taken as a professional related payments. So how much? 1,000 is taken as a professional payment, periodicals. So value is 1,000. Then telephone expenses, membership fee is also taken as a professional payment. So write to value. So telephone expenses is 4,000, membership fees is 1,000. Then life insurance premium. Life insurance premium is Life insurance premium 2000 is not relating to profession. For this, he can claim a deduction, will take later. Gift to relative is not relating to profession, it is relating to other head. General expenses. General expenses is taken as a professional payment. So in the office, they might be incurring many of the expenses. We cannot be countable. So that expenses is taken as a general expenses. So it is relating to profession actually. But if there is any personal expenses included in that, then we have to exclude that. So there is a additional information. General expenses includes 5,000 is a amount which is paid for his son's college tuition fees. So son's college tuition fees is not relating to his professional payment, it is relating to his personal. So this 5,000 we have to exclude from the general expenses. So actually general expenses is a general expenses, write properly. General expenses actually 24,000 we have to take here, but in the 24,000 there is a one value of 5,000 personal use is included. So that value we have to deduct. So only the remaining general expenses we have to consider. So the 5,000 is a personal, okay. Personal 5,000 we have to exclude. So the remaining 19,000 is taken as a professional related general expenses. So the balance carried on. Next is over on the payment side. Next these two value also along with the you have to write here. So the total will get 3,10,000. Next additional information, car is used for personal and professional we have considered. Next we have to take the depreciation one by one. So we will take the depreciation. So depreciation permissible is given. Permissible means the already calculated depreciation. Don't do any other changes in that depreciation. Whatever the calculated value is, we have to take that directly. So next under the depreciation on car is 18,000. On car 18,000. On computer 25,000. On furniture 1,500. Books 5,000. So these are the equipments or furniture assets which is used in the office. So on that assets we can record a depreciation. So the depreciation is recorded one by one. A car is 18,000, computer 25,000, furniture 1,500 and books is 5,000. So depreciation is considered, and the third adjustment also is considered while computing general expenses. So only this much info. So now we have to total the payment side. So it will be equal to 1,27,500. So if you deduct receipt minus payment, so the balance is nothing but 27,500 is nothing but professional income or income from taxable professional income, or even you can write taxable income from profession. In this illustration they have asked to compute the total taxable income. So along with the professional income we have to compute the total taxable income. So write the heading computation of total taxable income. So that is nothing but total income. So total income is equal to GTA minus deduction under section 80. So first we have to compute the GTA. So we'll compute first section 15 is relating to income from salary. So if an assessee receiving any salary, if an assessee is receiving any salary income, then it should be taxable under the section 15 under the head income from salary. So here this chartered accountant, he is along with the CA work or CA auditing work, along with that work he is working in a institution. He is working in an institution and he is receiving a remuneration from the teaching in a college. So that remuneration what he receive is nothing but it is a salary he is receiving from that college or a institution for the teaching work. So that is taken as a taken as a taxable under the head income from salary. So write remuneration for teaching in college. So the one who work in an institution, one who teach in the college, for that they will receive a remuneration from their institution. So that is nothing but the salary or a remuneration. So that income is taxable under the head section 15 salary income. So 60,000 is taxable here under the head section 15. Next section 22 relating to income from house property. So relating to income from house property, they will give the details about the rental income. So on the receipt side, so this is the receipt side, they will give rent from a house or a rent from house property. So there is a rental income from a house property, value is 50,000. So this chartered accountant has received a rental income from his house property, means he has given a one of a house for a rent. So from that house he is receiving a rental income. So that rental income is taxable under the head section 22. So here the rent received is nothing but the gross annual value. So that is equal to 50,000 from gross annual value. If that assessee or a chartered accountant, if he pays any municipal taxes for the house property paid by assessee or a taxpayer, the one whose income we are calculating, that person. So that is a chartered accountant. He has made a payments. Under the payment side we have to check whether he has paid any municipal taxes for the house property. So they have given municipal tax on house property under payment side. So that is nothing but 5,000 is taken as a house property deduction. For this payment expenses he can claim a deduction. So 50,000 minus 5,000 is equal to 45,000. So from this is nothing but annual value. From annual value he can claim two deduction, that is standard deduction at 30%. It is calculated on annual value. 45,000 into 30%. 45,000 into 30% is equal to 13,500. There is a one more deduction, interest on loan. You can deduct if there is. Here there is no information about interest on loan, so no need to take. If you want you can take interest on loan, but write nil, NIL. So after deducting two deduction from an annual value, so the balance is nothing but the taxable income from house property, that is equal to 31,500. So actually this chartered accountant has received a rental income of 50,000, but his taxable income is 31,500. So he can claim deductions relating to whatever the payments he has been made for that house. So municipal tax paid, it is a one of expenses incurred. So for that payment he can deduct. If he has taken a loan and for that if he paid any interest amount, then that also deductible. And as per the IRT rule, from a income they can deduct as minimum standard deduction. They can claim a deduction minimum of 30%. This is a rule. So they can deduct 30% from their income. So the balance is taxable income from a house property, 31,500. Next section is section 28. Profession. Here he is this chartered accountant engaged in, Raghavendra is engaged in the profession. So he is receiving a professional income. So the taxable professional income we have to write under section 28. So what is the amount of taxable professional income? So that is the 27,500 is taxable under the head section 28. 27,500. Next section 45. So that is relating to capital gain. So on the receipt side we have to see any capital gain is there. So here this is a receipt, professional salary, other source, it is a professional receipt. Then interest, other source, house property, income tax refund is not income. So there is no income relating to capital gain. There is no income like profit from sale of any asset. So it is taken as a nil. Next is section 56 is relating to income from other source. So we'll take the income from other source one by one. We'll see the illustration. So to write the income from other source, see the receipt side. Under that we'll take other source income. So other source, examiner's remuneration is taxable under the head other source. Examiner's remuneration taxable under the head other source. So the remuneration what he received from examiner's remuneration as a examiner's remuneration is 20,000. 20,000 is taxable under the head other source. Then Then gift actually taxable under the other source if it is received from a client for the medical services, for the as appreciation of medical services, it is taken as a professional receipt. If a gift is received from a client as a birthday gift or any other celebration, as a part of celebration, if they give any gift from client or relative, it should be taxable under the head other source. If here we are assuming this gift is received from a clients is for the appreciation of his work only, relating to his profession. Okay, so 5,000 we have taken under the head professional receipt. Now again it is not taken under the head section 56 because this is a gift received from a client is taken as a professional income, assuming it is relating to profession. And here they have not mentioned whether this received from as a part of client is given a gift for his birthdays or any anniversaries or wedding function, or for the appreciation of his service. No clear info. So we can assume this gift is received from our clients for the appreciation of his service. So it is taxable under the head professional income only. We have considered under professional income. Don't take again under the head other source. Then interest on bank deposit is relating to other source income. So take here interest on bank deposit. So the value of interest income is 5,000 is taxable under the head other source. Then rent from house property is not taken under the, it is taken under house property, it is not taken under house other source. Income tax refund is not taken as a income. Then gift to relatives, it is gift paid to gift given to relative, it is not a gift received from a relative. Okay, if it is gift received from relative, then we have to take here gift from a relatives exempt, we have to take. It is a gift given to relative, it is not a income, it is a payment. So see the difference, gift received from a relative and gift paid to relative. It is given here but it is not in the credit side, it should be here. Okay, by mistakenly printing error. Gift to relative is not a income, so it should not be taken while computing while computing the income. So it is not taken. If it is gift received from relative, then we have to write here and we have to mention it is exempt. Then there is no other income, so only two income. So that is equal to 25,000. So the GTA, now we have to compute GTA. 60,000 plus 31,500 plus 27,500 plus 25,000 is equal to 1,44,000. 1,44,000 is nothing but gross total income. Once again I will explain about this difference between examiner's remuneration and salary income. Just to see what is the difference between this remuneration for teaching in college and examiner's remuneration. Here the treatment is, in the case of remuneration, what you receive from teaching in college, it is taken as a salary income, and examiner's remuneration, what you receive from other source, is taken as a other source income. So what is the difference here is, so if we will take that SSC only, Raghavendra, chartered accountant. So he is working in the institution. He is working in the institution, college. He is working in the institution. So this is ABC college. So the name of the college is ABC college. So in this ABC college, he is working as a teacher or a lecturer. In this college he is working as a teacher or lecturer. So for teaching he will be receiving a remuneration, salary. He will be receiving a salary income monthly for teaching in this college. So that is nothing but remuneration for teaching in the college. So here he is receiving salary from his employer, that is a college. From college he is receiving a salary. So that salary income is taxable under the head section 15. Under the head section 15, salary income. So the same person, Mr. Raghavendra, the same person, along with the working in this institution, in this institution he is doing a auditing work as a chartered accountant. So whatever the income he is receiving for that auditing work, so that income is taxable under the head section 28 professional income, that we have calculated relating to the professional income what he is receiving for the auditing of work, tax consultation. So the along with that he is earning still more income. So along with the auditing work he is working in an institution, and from there he is receiving a salary. So that salary income is taken as a is taxable under section 15. So examiner's remuneration means along he is working in this institution ABC college name. In this institution he is working and he is receiving a salary. Along with that he is doing any of exam duty. Along with that any Sundays and all, there might be a competitive exams may be conducted by the central government or state government or any other universities, or even the same university also there might be examination conducted, maybe weekend, Sundays, Saturdays, like. So for that he will go for that examination duty. For the examination duty he will do the examination duty with the examination is conducted by maybe the central government or state government by the board, like. So that is his extra work he is doing. For that examination duty he is receiving a examiner's remuneration. It is not a part of his salary. It is not a salary income. He is not receiving from his college. He is receiving from other source. From he is doing extra work as examination duty. For that he is receiving examiner's remuneration. So that is the income he is receiving from other source. For the extra work he is receiving an examination remuneration. So that is taken as a other source income. It is not a salary income. It is not salary income. He is not receiving this examiner's remuneration from his employer. So it is not a salary income. It is not a house property income. That is not relating to house property. It is not relating to business income or a professional income. It is not relating to a capital gain. It is relating to it is a income he is receiving from somewhere else, some other place. So that is the examiners from any other institutions or from other governments or universities. So that is taken as other source income, and that income should be taxable under the head section 56 as a examiner's remuneration. So I hope you understood the difference between remuneration in teaching in college and examiner's remuneration. So remuneration in teaching in college is a salary income he is receiving from his own employer, but examiner's remuneration is he is receiving from a other employer, maybe the central government, state government, or any other universities which is conducting that examination. So for that he is receiving the examiner's remuneration. So it is receiving from other employer. It is this examination is not conducted here. Okay, this examination is not conducted here by this college. It is conducted by other or by any other university. So that income should be taxable under the head other source, but remuneration what he received from his employer is taxable under the head salary income. So that is the difference between the remuneration what he received for the teaching in the college and the examiner's remuneration. So both will be taxable under different head. So that is about the examiner's remuneration and the remuneration for teaching in college. So if you total, you will get GTA is equal to 1,44,000. From GTA we have to deduct the deductions under section 80. Deduction under section 80. To calculate the taxable income we have to deduct the deduction under section 80. So this is the total GTA, gross total income. The assessee, the one who earn income under different head, no need to pay the taxes on this income. They can claim some of the deduction. They can reduce their taxable income by deducting some of the deductions. So which are the any deductions which is permissible as per IT Act. If they have made any payments relating to the items which is permissible as per IT Act. So relating as per IT Act for the ATC. For the ATC, they can claim if the assessee has invested in, if the assessee has taken a life insurance policy, and for that if they have paid a life insurance premium, then that can be deductible under section ATC. LIC premium they can claim deduction for the payment of. So this is under the payment side. So LIC premium what the assessee has paid can be deductible, that is a 2000 value LIC. Then there is no other ATC payment here. There is one more item, son's tuition fees, college tuition fees. So here the assessee has paid a son's college tuition fees. So the college tuition fees also take college or school or any tuition fees. They can for that tuition fees he can claim a deduction under section 80C. It is as per the IT rule, income tax rule. Under the 80C it is clearly mentioned for the LIC or tuition fees for 2 child they can claim. So here total tuition fees paid is 5000. So 5000 deduction they can claim. So then there is no other deduction relating to 80C. So next is relating to 80G. There is a deduction, donation to school. So that is as per IT rule. For the donations they can claim a deduction under section 80G. So there is a donation to school 10,000. The total donation is 10,000. Out of total donation they can claim only 50% deduction here, 50% deduction. So that is 5,000. So in detail about these deductions you are going to learn. But here in this illustration they are asked to compute the taxable income. So we have to solve the adjustment relating to it also. There is no other deduction. So the total deduction is equal to 12,000. So 12,000 should be deducted from here. So GT 1,44,000 minus 12,000 is equal to 1,32,000 is a taxable income, total taxable income. So actually his income is 1,44,000 and he has made some of the payment. He has taken a life insurance policy and for that he made a payment, and he has paid a tuition fees, and he has donated given a donation to school. So these are the payment. For these payment, if ICC makes payment for these, then they can reduce their taxes. As per IT rule it says, as per section 80C you can claim deduction, or as per 80G you can claim a deduction for that payment. So we can reduce our total income. When we reduce our total income, our tax also reduces. So in detail about the deduction you are learning in the next semester. In detail about the deduction. So there is a deduction from 80C to 80U. So in detail you are going to learn in next semester. So here there is a some deduction now they have given. So that deduction we have to consider while computing taxable income, because they have asked to compute taxable income. So don't confuse with these deductions. So this is about this illustration. I hope you understood this illustration.